I'm going to measure the capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor by discharging it through an oscilloscope. The theory is that if I connect my parallel plate capacitor to a power supply, it will charge up, and then I can disconnect it with a switch or by pulling out the wire, and then it will discharge through the megaohm resistance of the input of the oscilloscope. The only thing that we need to be careful of is that there will be some capacitance from the leads and the internal capacitance of the oscilloscope. So we'll have to try and take that away to find the capacitance of the parallel plate capacitor. I'm going to use the exponential decay equation for a discharging capacitor, and when the time is equal to the resistance times the capacitance, which is also called the time constant, then in this equation t becomes RC, which gives us e to the minus RC over RC, which gives us e to the minus 1, and e to the minus 1 is about 0.37. So if I can measure the time for the potential difference to reduce to 0.37 of its original value, then that time will be equal to the resistance, the 1 megaohm, times the capacitance. So let's go back to the practical. I've got a metal plate flat on the table, which is connected to the negative terminal of the power supply and to the negative terminal of the oscilloscope, which is connected to the computer. I'm going to separate the bottom plate from the top plate by using 4 microscope slides, one placed in each corner of the bottom plate. I'm then going to put the top metal plate on top of those microscope slides, and then I need to connect that top plate to the positive terminal of the power supply, which is also connected to the positive terminal of the oscilloscope. I can now turn on my smoothed power supply and adjust it to give exactly 10 volts. So I'm going to set the trigger on the oscilloscope to trigger at 3.7 volts on a falling edge, which means that it should trigger after one time constant of the capacitor discharging. To discharge the capacitor, I can just pull the lead out of the positive terminal of the power supply and it discharges. But sometimes it won't disconnect cleanly and I won't get a clear discharge. So if I try that a few times and wait until I get a really clear discharging capacitor curve. Because I set the oscilloscope to trigger after one time constant of discharge, if I click on the point where it starts to discharge and remove the minus sign, that will tell me the time constant of the circuit, which I can see is 777 microseconds. Now I'm going to disconnect the parallel plate capacitor from the circuit and then try the same thing again of discharging the circuit, because that will allow me to measure the time constant without the parallel plate capacitor, and then I should be able to work out the capacitance from everything else and subtract that to find the capacitance of just the parallel plate capacitor. After a few attempts, I managed to get a clear trace, and I can see that the time constant of that is 165 microseconds. The analysis is now quite straightforward because I know the resistance from the impedance of the oscilloscope was 1 times 10 to the 6. So taking the time constant without the parallel plate capacitor, I can work out the capacitance without the parallel plate capacitor by just dividing by that resistance, which gives me 1.65 times 10 to the minus 10 farads. And with the parallel plate capacitor, once again, I can divide the time constant by the resistance, which gives me 7.7 times 10 to the minus 6, 10 farads. And then I can find the capacitance just from the parallel plate capacitor from the difference between those capacitances, which gives me 6.12 times 10 to the minus 10 farads, or 612 picofarads. Let's now measure up the capacitor and see if we can calculate the capacitance using the parallel plate capacitor equation. To find the area of the plate, I can just use a ruler, and I can see that it is 25 centimeters in that direction, and it's also 25 centimeters in that direction. So 0.25 meters by 0.25 meters. To measure the separation of the plates, I'm going to use a micrometer to measure the thickness of the microscope slides, and I'm going to turn the ratchet to avoid cracking the glass of the microscope slide, and I think that reads 1.1 or 1.12 millimeters. I'm going to take it as 1.11 millimeter. Now I can calculate the area by multiplying the 0.25 by the 0.25. I've got my separation, so I can use the parallel plate capacitance equation, which says the capacitance equals the permittivity times the area divided by the separation. And since it's mostly air in the gap, I'm going to take the permittivity as the permittivity of free space. And if I put all those numbers in, I get 4.99 times 10 to the minus 10 farads, or 499 picofarads. Now, it's not totally different to what I got, but it is a bit smaller. So I thought I should double check using a capacitance meter on a multimeter. Just with the leads connected on the multimeter, we're reading 1.23 nanofarads. So now let's build the parallel plate capacitor again and then measure the capacitance. And when we give it a moment to stabilize, we read 1.94 nanofarads, giving us a difference of 0.71 nanofarads. So both of our measurement methods, the discharge and the multimeter one, are giving us a larger capacitance than we got from the calculation. So why is that? When I did the calculation, I took the permittivity to be the permittivity of free space, which I justified as being reasonable because it was mostly air in between. But I ignored the relative permittivity. Now, the relative permittivity of air is approximately 1, so that isn't a problem. But what about the glass microscope slides? Well, if we measure up and calculate their area, we can work out that the microscope slides are actually about 12% of the total area. And the relative permittivity of glass is between 3 and 5 typically. So that means that they will add a significant amount to the capacitance, somewhere between 24 and 48%. So that is enough to explain why we got larger capacitances than we predicted with the original calculation. To check that, in this photograph I have moved the microscope slides so that they are almost out of between the parallel plates, but just tiniest bit is still inside to hold the plates that distance apart, and that reduces the multimeter reading to 1.75 nanofarads, which gives me about 520 picofarads, which is close to what I calculated when I assumed the permittivity was the permittivity of free space. Anyway, I hope this video has given you some ideas about how you might investigate parallel plate capacitors, both by discharging them through an oscilloscope or by measuring them with a multimeter. Instead of microscope slides, you could also use sheets of paper in between, which has the advantage of being able to decrease the spacing quite a lot, but also it keeps the permittivity the same throughout the capacitor.